Met's unit of specially trained riot officers has been criticised by the Independent Police Complaints Commission for using excessive force and at times being guilty of abusing its power. The police watchdog reviewed complaints made against the Territorial Support Group and said that while there's been a decline in complaints against its officers, more restraint is needed. Nick Beak reports.
They're the specially trained officers on the front line. The G20 protests 3 years ago, student fee demos in 2010 and the riots last summer. But the police watchdog says the Territorial Support Group, or TSG, is using excessive force. That's no surprise to this lawyer. Andre Clovis says his firm is currently dealing with a dozen claims against TSG officers. Last year, he represented this 16-year-old boy in the middle of the screen wearing a hat and a dark padded jacket. He was approached by TSG officer Marcus Ballard and then, just out of shot, pushed through the window of a shop. Ballard was convicted of assault.
It demonstrates the culture as it is. You have a schoolboy doing nothing wrong. He's propelled through a shop front window. And then, to add insult to injury, he's arrested.
Today's report found complaints against the TSG had fallen, but there was still excessive force and abuse of authority, unlawful arrests, and failings in the way it used stop and search powers.
I think this is always a difficult area, particularly where you're dealing with confrontational situations. I suppose I would wish to reassure you that they say we are working with the community, we're working with complainants. If somebody makes an allegation that excessive force has been used, it will always be investigated and then appropriately dealt with afterwards.
The IPCC highlighted 28 complaints against the TSG over the last 4 years. 23 cases involved stop and search. In only 4, items such as drugs or weapons were found. Nearly half the allegations involved racial discrimination. And this report is very clear. Public confidence will be damaged unless underlying issues are addressed. Among them, allegations of racist behaviour by TSG officers. The Met says new community groups will help scrutinise the TSG's work. It says there'll also be an enhanced selection process for those who make up the 800 officers in the TSG, who face some of the most challenging of policing situations. Nick Beak, BBC London News.
Meanwhile, the IPCC has been asked